Hello and welcome to the Faith Building Podcast, episode 74, with your lovely and amazing hosts, Vladi Kuna.
And Norman Greater. Hi, guys.
We greet you, lovely people, and today's topic is a very interesting one because we kind of have a controversy point of view towards it. One part of the mentorship says go left, the other one says go right, and we don't want to tell you what's right or wrong. You figure that out yourself. We just want to give you the options. And the question that popped up interestingly in Vladi's world and in my world at a similar time is, should I tell other people about my goal? And like I said, there are two different opinions. The one side says, yes, share it with others, because for some of you it's good. It gives you pressure. If you say, I'm going to write a book, people will ask you about the book, so you don't get lazy because you get pushed by other people towards your goal. And others say, no, 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 never ever. Under no circumstance, tell any of your goals to other people for various reasons. And we want to explore both of them today. Vladi, do you want to kick it off with either one side of our opinion here?
I'll kick it with my personal experience and growth because I've changed this several times. And I loved sharing. I used to love sharing. I thought it was inspiring me. People would, be encouraging you and motivating you as well. Until I got disappointed myself in not trusting the right people, talking too much before doing it. And that's what usually happens. And also got great ideas that got stolen and never really pushed it the way I would love, and it got me disappointed. But I really took a responsibility and realized that I'm speaking too much too soon. And I personally believe in this. Do whatever it is for you. But if we're talking about a big goal, so we're talking about your C goal, the impossible, massive things you want to achieve, and the one you should have set, you should always have a big goal set, because the kind of types of goal you do every day, we all can share. If you share with someone that you're going to do something that is pretty much in your life, that's not the kind of sharing goals we're talking about. We're talking about your dream goal, something that is big. Like, I remember my first C goal that I set with our mentor, Bob Proctor. I've made a decision to become an author. And I actually have not told people that I'm writing a book until it was published. And it came as a shock to lots of people, and especially family and friends. Like, what, you're an author now? Like, it's sometimes people just get disappointed that basically you're their great friends and you've never mentioned this to them before. But I also experienced the show before you speak. So show people what you can do before you talk about them, because majority of the people, and I mean this in the most loving way, are talking about everything but never get it done. So talking and doing are two different things, and there are two things that can happen. It can motivate you, you can tell the right people, and you actually achieve the goal. However, there are lots of energies that are associated, and most people, and forgive me for saying it because I am really seeing everything more positive than negative, but we're programmed to pick negativity first. Genuinely, people are not as, and I'm talking vibrationally, as happy for your success as they say they are. There's lots of negative emotions running around when people get real success. And I'm talking those quantum leaps, like somebody publishes, becomes a New York Times author, creates their own company and get really successful within a year, buy a new car, buy a new home, find a soulmate, like get this amazing body in 6 months, like whatever it is. People say, oh, you look great. Oh my God, you've got a new car, a new house. But what is the real, true feeling and emotion behind people? How do they really feel about you creating an incredible success? It's a different story. And this energy really impacts it. So I am right now, after being years in a personal development, I'm a strong believer that you should share your dream, but with the right people. I really feel it helps me, because if you close it just to yourself, unless you're a great manifester, great person who actually grows yourself and already experienced the goal setting many times, then perhaps you're fine being alone in it. However, there's always someone like, right, I'm gonna say this with Norman, and we have another study partner, Jonah, with us, and what we helped each other is like somebody says something and you go like, oh my God, I haven't considered that quite. So it can really help you, because having someone else's perception is really growing you and seeing the things from a different angle. Whereas if you're just looking at it from your point of view and set it as you want, you're also setting goals with your paradigms. So you know all the limitations we have, they're part of us. They don't go away. So we set the goals, we think they're great, but they're limiting because we have limits. And when you're actually in the right environment with the right kind of people and sharing that with them, and those people actually can help you. They send you a recording, they send you a meditation, they send you maybe a webinar they attended. And that's the huge part, which I feel is the most helpful to me in few years, that we've been sharing and helping each other to see that, okay, maybe you could try this or that, and that helps to grow. Because sometimes you find and come across things that you wouldn't necessarily pick on yourself, but because you share your goal with the right people, then they send you and you start attracting opportunities, energy, people, money, ideas that actually grow you, and you manifest faster. So that's a long answer to my start. Back to Norman.
It's a perfect answer. Our current mentor shares the same value what Vladi just shared about the vibration that people send out, doubt, fear, not really hatred, but some might do that, and this will affect your dream and your manifestation. I will go to the opposite side and say, yes, it's a good thing to share your dreams and your big visions, because I recall a book, I think it was John Strelecki, The Big Five for Life, where he says, share your big five for life, the 5 big dreams you have for your life with the public. Make a little business card, put your data up front, and on the back, you write your big 5 for life. The reason, you might ask, is very obvious. The only way that we can achieve all our goals and dreams, at least in a material world, is through other people. The universe, God, Buddha will not come down from heaven and support you in a direct way. It has to send other people. Other people have the land. Other people have the car. Other people have the job. Other people are the spouse you probably want to have. It's all related to other people. And as long as you don't share what's on your mind, what you want to have in your life with other people, they cannot help you. John says, really put that on a business card, give the business card to each and everyone, and see if they can help you with your dream. And again, we don't want to tell you do the one thing or the other thing. It's just think about the option, because from my point of view, whenever I shared my dreams, the big vision, the Porsche arena, 6 years in advance, the movie project, and so on, I realized that I get supporters on the way. I would not have gotten if I would not have spoken about the big dream. Because if I just hide it, and as I make it out with myself, I have to do all the work. Just recall a gentleman that was on one of the cruises where I talked about a movie. He said, oh, I was in the film and production business many years ago. Now he's retired. But if you get a contract from Hollywood and if you want to get some advice, just send it to me. I can look over it. You don't have to pay a lawyer because it's written in a very tricky way. So if you want to have some advice, just let me know. So I kind of saved money through that. Of course, I would have gotten support and everything, but actually for money. And therefore, I say, based on my experience, I never felt too much, let's say, outside pressure. I'm not speaking about the emotional frequency stuff that Vladi mentioned, just from outside people. But on the other side, you have to be very stable with your goal, with yourself, because you will always meet people that have doubts, especially in your inner circle, your tight surrounding, I want to call it. They have doubts, what Vladi said. Oh, you're an author now. Oh, you want to be a doctor now. Or you want to be this now. Or you think now you're better. What do you think? You want to have 1 million? What's wrong with you? So your close circle is the biggest enemy for sharing your goals. And that I would admit, only share your goals with people where you know they can boost it. But again, with everyone on the street, you don't know if they would be the next step towards your goal, unless, of course, you take the spiritual way again and you say, I'm vibrating on a certain frequency and this will attract the right people. And if you believe and you think and you know you will meet the right people that are necessary for the next steps, then you don't need to share it verbally or in a written way. And that's the other point of view.
I love it. You know what? Two things pops up as Norman's talking, and one is it really depends how solid you are, your growth. Like if you've already grown to the self-love, you're at that grounding point where I love other people's opinion, but they're not going to form me because I know I'm a worthwhile person. So you actually take it as an idea that you received, or you evaluate it because you know where you stand. You're not going to be influenced by any of these like emotions as well. Whereas if you're the very beginning, like I remember my very early days, I was so influenced by who was saying. And I think that one of the most important thing we're learning, especially with Norman now studying Kevin Trudeau, is who you're listening to. And that's becoming actually my very good point. I used to just jump from one webinar to another webinar. It was like this jumping in, and the more I do, the better I get. That's what I believed. That's not really how it works. And I thought the more webinars I attend and the more hours I work and the more I can read and the more I can study. And I was like this sponge. And it happens when you make a decision to do something new, you actually jump into it with this enthusiasm overflowing and you really want to bring on a lot of things. But that's not actually the key. So really, where are you in your growth and how solid you are influences also. So pay attention how you feel, because sometimes people might be giving you advice and family, and they do it with all the respect and love. Oh my goodness, like you're 45 and you started studying a brain now, like really? Like, why don't you carry on with the legal stuff and financial? You already spent a lifetime on it. And, the advice comes from a point of love, perhaps, like I should say, but it's not what you desire. And this is where it's really important. What do I want from my life? Not everyone else. And how does this fit into, is this goal mine? Because if it's truly yours, then yes. And I love what Norman was talking about. And actually I jumped straight to that. The second point was accountability. The truth is, if you openly say, and especially in the public, when you're a public figure, I am writing a book and I do this, and I've done this with my greatest sales chick. I felt that I'm letting people down, and I felt the pressure when I've actually changed my goal, that what will people think about it now? Because I worked on the project and literally just decided that's not my next right step. And it's fine. It's your goal. And really, people don't care. It's us who makes false assumptions that something is going to happen. No, nothing's going to happen. But pay attention to decisiveness and indecisiveness, because they both are habits. You either make a good decisions. If you keep quitting, like Lisa Nichols used to tell the swimming story of her grandmother when she was swimming, she used to tell her, winners never quit, quitters never win. And I have it written on various places, and I thought that is so true. But also, you're the winner. Do you have the winner's mindset? Do you have the goal where you just want to achieve it and you don't really pay too much attention whether people know or not? I think it really is what we set in our mindset, because we are talking about how we set our mind. If we feel that everybody's going to steal things, or you experienced it before and you start thinking from that frequency, like, oh my God, every time I'm going to have an idea now, people are going to steal it. Well, that's a habit you created because of the bad experience you had. Get rid of that. Just let it go. Because actually, if you keep thinking about riding a bike to a station when you take a train, and then you're going to imagine how somebody's stealing the bike, and you just imagining how you're training it, but in your imagination, what you're really truly seeing is it's being stolen, it will get stolen. If you're imagining your partner is cheating and you cannot get rid of that, at some point they will cheat because you attracted it. The energy you give to the thoughts that you want or don't want, and pay attention. You don't want, you put energy to what you don't want, you're going to have it because that's what you ordered. And it's the same with the goals. Accountability is great. So if you actually tell people, they hold you accountable and you feel like you don't want to be failing. It's kind of like, oh my goodness, I have accountability partners. I need to ensure that I'm getting myself somewhere. That's why Bob Proctor used to call accountability an insurance policy. Why? Because we don't always have a great days. So you might go through something and just look at it and feel, I really don't feel this week. I want to do anything. But people say, come on, you've been working on this for so long. Don't give up now. And that kind of gives you that kind of like, yeah, they're right. Because they're right, but you just can't override your own emotions sometimes. So it helps other people to know what you want. And like Norman was saying, I love that. It's funny. How can I use that as an example? I got that from Norman because he knows one of my dreams is fly Spitfire. And the thing is, like, I've got this looking at it all the time, and I already felt it. I've stand in front of a real Spitfire, I took a picture. I know I will fly it one day. Detached from when it has to be, I know it will happen whenever the perfect time is. But if he didn't know, he wouldn't have sent me a reminder, and I wouldn't see it every day to feel that, oh my God, I love that goal. And then you never know if there is, let's say there is something that there's like, oh my God, there is an incredible opportunity to fly Spitfire. You only pay this money. It's only this weekend. And one of your friends says to you, did you see that? That's exactly, because if they don't know, they will not pick on that. But if they know and they see that, they're like, oh my God, you must see this flyer. And then let's say I see that, I'm like, oh, that's half price to what I wanted to pay. And I'll book myself in it. So people do help you to actually achieve goal faster and get to you faster. And also the energy of you wishing for others what you wish for yourself makes you manifest faster and helps them to manifest faster. I've been visualizing Norman. In fact, I've been visualizing myself sitting in the chair where he's getting the Oscar so many times. I know my color of the dress, the red carpet, love that. And like you actually help each other with the little reminders, little gifts. It does get you into this powerful energy of getting it faster and helping others to manifest it faster too. Norman, back to you.
It's true. And of course, this works if you're part of a mastermind or part of a goal achieving group, however you want to call it, just where your goals and dreams are safe. And Vladi, you just mentioned something a couple of minutes ago about the energy. And I was reminded of Tony Robbins, where your focus goes, energy flows. And this means if I divert from my goal and I see that somebody steals my bike at the train station, this is where my focus goes. And the same thing is, of course, if you have goals and dreams, if you think about what happened, what could happen, what could go wrong, you put focus into it. And the thing you need to overcome that is one thing that's written in our podcast name. It's faith. You need to have faith that everything will be good. Look, where Vladi and I come from, she's from the UK, I'm from Germany. We drive when we're not on the highway on regular streets. And the only thing that divides the one lane from the other lane is a white or a yellow line printed on the floor or on the road itself. That's the only thing. So somebody comes across you with 100, 120 miles per hour or kilometers per hour, and you just have faith that nothing happens, even though a couple times a day it happens that somebody looks at their phone or the radio and they crash into another car and people die. Still, it does not keep you away from doing it again, because you say, oh my gosh, what could happen? If you would think like that, you would stay home. You would not go nowhere, because everywhere something could happen, even at home. You need to have faith to move forward. And one golden rule that we all have is feel good now. Feel good now when it comes to your dreams, to your goals. Now, as we know neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and we know the meta programs, we know there are always usually two meta programs that are opposite of each other, and one is towards a goal and the other one is away from the pain. Some people are driven towards a goal. They say, I set a goal, I will fill out the Porsche Arena in 6 years of time, and that's their carrot on the stick that they throw out, and they follow the carrot for 6 years. No need to push them, because the goal actually draws them. But there are many people that are motivated exactly the other way. away from a pain. And those are the people that need a personal trainer that shouts at them, that screams at them, that kicks them, that pushes them. And you might think, okay, but this is not a good way. If I need to be pushed, if somebody has to scream at me that I do sit-ups or reps or whatever, aren't you feeling good at the end when you achieved it? It's just a different way of accomplishing it. So if you have doubters, if you have people that worry, could this be a fuel for you to say, and I will prove to them that I will master it? And again, there's no right or wrong. It's your type of personality, what you think is important for you. And if you're drawn towards a goal or pushed away from a pain, and therefore, if you should tell people about your goal and dreams and desires or not, is basically determined on, do I need that push? Do I need this social push? Do I need this public push? Because the more people you say, what Vladi shared earlier, the more will hold you accountable. And you might think, oh, I'm going to let them down if I don't finish the book or if I don't finish the project. And this could be away from the pain. You don't want to be on the opposite side, that everybody laughs about you and says, see, this loser. But it pushes you because it's your kind of motivation. So always make sure you know if you're drawn towards a goal, then you need a lot of pleasure and you don't need to share your dream. Or if you're being pushed away from a pain, then of course you need to find someone who builds up the pain. Can be mentors, can be friends, can be relatives, can be people in a mastermind group. You choose for yourself what feels right. Because coming back to what Vladi said in the beginning, too much negative energy stops you from achieving it and stops the flow that it comes easily to you. And one question popped up in my mind that I chatted with a friend about just this morning, where I said, but people also have doubts when I share my wins. Because he said, never ever share your dreams. You can share your wins. And I said, yeah, but people also send you doubt and worry and negativity when they say, oh, she published a book now. And he said something very true. He said, yes, but your goal is already achieved. So they can be as negative as they want to. You just don't care because your goal is achieved. But it's not that big vision, that big target you want to hit, that where it energetically pushes you away or pulls you away, because too many people because they are just not mean to you, but it's a human thing where people say, oh, I like you to be successful, but not too successful or not much more successful than I am. It's just in the nature of people that they want to be the best, the greatest, the fastest, and everybody who would pass by them. Usually we tend not to like that. So maybe in wrapping it up for my part, always make sure to know, does it support me? Does it push me to tell people about my dreams? Do I believe that the whole world could be the next step? Or do I say, no, I'm vibrating the right frequency and I attract the right people and they will show themselves to me if needed? And I hand it back to Vladi to close today's call with what is on her mind about the topic, to make it a round thing.
You brought me straight back to beliefs. I'd say very important decision for every single one of you to choose whether you want to share or not is, what are you vibrating? If you know that your state is fear and you've been cheated and you know, like your stuff has been stolen, your ideas has been stolen. And actually I've heard someone telling me this week saying, every time I come up with an idea, somebody else takes it and does it. Now, what do we get upset about? We don't get upset about that idea being stolen. But if it happened many times, is it because we're talking too much and doing nothing? That's another part. And then we get upset about it. Because if you just keep talking about things, oh, I would love to do that, and this is what I'm doing this in the future, and I'm setting this plan, and I want to help female, and I want to do this, and you have all these great goals that you want to achieve, and you're sharing them. Well, take a responsibility. That's the right sentence I'm looking for. Take a responsibility for what actions I'm taking. Or am I talking too much and all other people are taking actions and I'm not? And that is what's really the core of what's upsetting me. It's not actually that somebody does the idea, because I love what our mentor used to say, there can be 3 same businesses on one street. And one will do exceptionally well and one will absolutely bankrupt. Same street, same people, same business, What is it that you're doing or you need to grow yourself into doing something? Find good in everything and everybody, in a sense that you're looking what other people do are successful, how are they doing it, what's different about them. Learn and adopt something to yourself. Because copying is not about just coming and stealing an idea. It's about learning the principles and applying them for yourself. Trying to be unique, deliver extra mind, cause an impression of increase. And all these things are so tied into the way you think. And that is actually going to influence whether you share a goal or not. Because if we get too paranoid, if we're vibrating a fear, whatever type of fear, whether it's fear of loss, fear of being successful, there is a fear of being successful. And, like also a fear of not achieving enough. Whatever we actually tell ourselves and the story we tell ourselves, and we created these convincing beliefs, that is a huge indicator whether you happy share or not. But the one law we've learned is unconditional giving. When you start unconditionally giving and sharing, and funnily enough, me and Norman, we met through sharing stuff. We met at the webinar probably 9 years ago, and we on the Master's Manifesting, and it was so funny because it was actually a subject of approval and Wayne Dyer that actually got us, and we started exchanging videos and really looking at my life. My network is my biggest net worth. I love people I have in my life. I think that's the best win I've ever achieved. The type of people that are in my life. And I'm so happy, really happy. And thinking about, I never sit there and say, I have to hide all the stuff I have, all the accesses I have, all this information. Because the more I have, I will not share it and I will be better than everyone else. Is that the type of thinking? Because that stops people to share. But that also allows people to be in a vibration that they don't want to share the goal because there's so much fear or holding on to, on crunching. Control is the right word. I will control it all. So the more information I have, other guys don't have access to it. Well, I've learned, give everything out. Everything you have to the right people. Obviously, you can't, I'm not saying throw it to the entire world, but because the more you share, the more comes back to you. But it's not just that. You're not doing it. I want you to detach from actually expecting anything back. You have to share it because you want to and you're expecting nothing back whatsoever, because that energy is really conditioned if you expect something back. But also what always happened to me is I shared something, especially when we study with Norman, and then he comes back with his, oh my God, and this does this, and then he would send me something else or say something that really cracked a week or weeks of question. Thinking, I never thought of that. And he picked on it in a recording I've heard 10 times, and I didn't. And that is the power of sharing, because we're all so powerful and unique, and our point of view will open eyes and ways and connections to other people. We may share something that actually gets the other person somewhere closer to their goals, and actually the fulfillment of that, the joy that actually somebody's closer to their goal, is going to get you closer to yours without even have to do anything. But you cannot use conditions. I will do this for this person because I will be closer to. It's proximity and proximity. Because people who use proximity intentionally just to get themselves up on a pedestal, it's a different kind of energy than those who do it unconditionally. And that is all very connected to how much you share and how much are you willing to give out. And I'm going to land with that.
That's a beautiful closing statement. Unconditional love, unconditional giving. And again, you can only give unconditional if you have something yourself. So start always with making sure that you feel better just a little bit. And this probably is the best advice we want to give you, even though it does not solve your issue. Do you share your dreams or not? But always go with the one blinking statement over your head. Does it make me feel better right now? If yes, then do it. And if you realize, oh, it does not on the way, then change it for next time, because experience something is the only way for us to grow and learn. Just listening or reading does not really do the trick. You need to experience it. So don't be mad if somebody stole your idea that was already in the field. And like Vladi said, they acted just faster. Usually you're mad about yourself. Oh, I did not get it registered, the name, or I was not fast. I was just talking about it and now somebody else pulled ahead. Divert all this negative energy back towards your goal and say, then I change the name, then I change the book, then I change my plan. So what? Life goes on. And we wish you a wonderful week. And then we see you again next week. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.